welcome to the daily English news program in Azerbaycan Television, with your host Elif with most important events of the day. On December 22nd, President İlham Aliyev signed an executive order on conscription of citizens of the Republic of Azerbaijan to active military service from January 1st to 30th, 2021, and release of active military servicemen. According to the executive order, citizens of the Republic of Azerbaijan born in 2003 and until the day of conscription to military service, including that day, are 18 years old. And those born in between 1986 and 2002, as well as the citizens under the age of 35, who previously did not serve in the armed forces of the Republic of Azerbaijan, who are not entitled to deferment of conscription or are not exempt from conscription, will be called up for active military service from January 1st to 30th, 2021. Philosophers, thinkers, socio-political figures who study the history of the world and the system of public administration put forward such a unanimous and conceptual approach. Happy is not a nation whose population is large, whose territory is large, but happy is that nation who, despite its small number and territory, has a leader who is able to turn this fact into an advantage. Analyzing the development strategy of the Republic of Azerbaijan, which regained its independence in the early 1990s, experts acknowledge that the Azerbaijani people have such leaders in the example of the great leader Heydar Aliyev and the worthy successor İlham Aliyev. It is said that historical personalities are creative. The new history of independence of the Azerbaijani state is connected with the name of the great leader Heydar Aliyev. The titanic deeds of the national leader, who returned to power in 1993 at the insistence of the people, will never be forgotten by our appreciative people. Today, the great leader's political course is successfully continued by his successor, President İlham Aliyev. The spirit of the national leader who said, "I believe in him as much as I do in myself," can rejoice. İlham Aliyev, faithful to his father's path, duly fulfills the will of the great leader. Over the past 17 years, the President's perfect knowledge of history and public speaking skills have brought many difficult moments to his opponents in many international forums. One of the important nuances to note here is that the President is able to choose the right place and time to make a decisive speech with the right and great foresight, and that leaders in the world can rarely overcome such situations. In all these matters, the diplomatic experience of the President of Azerbaijan, accurate answers that put the opponent in a difficult situation, flexible logic and rational effective speech are the guarantees of achieving the desired result. The platforms he chose to expose Armenia provided a crushing blow to enemy's ideology. In general, well-known political scientists and technologists analyzing İlham Aliyev's 17-year presidency note that several influential elements specific to his personal qualities, like patience, intelligence, determination and charisma, have resulted in the defeat of his opponents. In addition, strong intuition, thinking ability, sharp intellect allow İlham Aliyev to make optimal decisions in any situation. There are many similar examples in history. Only strong leaders can successfully pull the country out of crisis situations. The liberations of Azerbaijan's lands, which have been under occupation for 30 years, in a relatively short period of 44 days, is not only a matter of military strength and fighting spirit. The ability to properly analyze military strategy and tactics, the ability to learn the intricacies of the military spirit of the army also play a phenomenal role. For 17 years, the President's consistent and effective approach in raising the public awareness of the fact that Nagorno-Karabakh is an integral part of Azerbaijan, that the region will never be granted independence, that the lands will be liberated at any time, forms the moral and psychological pillars of the glorious victory. The consistent exposure of Armenia's unjust positions from the tribunes of international organizations and the adoption of a number of important documents against the aggressor created the legal framework for the 44-day war. These are the characteristics of a great statesman, strategist, and ideological leaders, and the philosophy of success of the 44-day war proved that İlham Aliyev is a statesman who meets the standards in all his qualities. Yes, Azerbaijan is writing a new history of victory, the history of the restoration of our broken pride in 44 days. It is not easy to achieve such a success against the background of the existing double standards, religious antagonism, conflict of interests and moral degradation in the world. However, Azerbaijan was not only able to overcome the negative stereotypes and regain what is due to it, but also introduce a new model of cooperation and peace in the world. The glorious victory over an aggressor state like Armenia in 44 days is a logical result result of the combination of the military power of the state, as well as intelligence, sharp intellect, wise approach, and leadership skills. This person is President İlham, who made history in the Second Karabakh War, who was the flag bearer of the war and played the role of a worthy soldier of the victorious army. His services to the motherland and the people, his leadership skills in this war will never be forgotten. His name will be written in the textbooks and passed on to future generations as a hero of the 44-day war, hero of the patriotic war, national hero, a leader who rendered unparalleled services to his people. Azerbaijan's Ministry of Defense has released the video footage of the liberated Zoghal Bulaq village of Khojavend region. Azerbaijan's Ministry of Defense released video footage of the Baryant village of Jabrail region. I present to you this footage. A group on the clearance of mines of the Turkish Armed Forces conducts training on the fulfillment of engineering support tasks in the specially designed engineering towns in our country. According to Azerbaijan's Defense Ministry, during the training, engineers conduct terrain reconnaissance, fulfill training tasks on the detection and neutralization of the mines using special equipment and specially trained dogs. After the completion of the preparatory process, Turkish specialists will be involved in the process of demining in the liberated territories of Azerbaijan. The Ministry of Culture of the Republic of Azerbaijan has launched preliminary monitoring of cultural heritage in the liberated Azerbaijani lands, and the results of the initial monitoring have been officially submitted to UNESCO. The monitoring report also included photos of the destruction of all our religious and cultural monuments, as well as the desecration of our mosques in the territories once occupied by Armenia, said Azerbaijan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, commenting on the UNESCO's press release on the sending of a mission to Azerbaijan. Quote, "We hope that UNESCO will not remain silent about the war crimes reflected in the monitoring report. We believe that UNESCO must fulfill its mission independently and objectively and not allow the issue of protection of cultural heritage to be politicized." Such press releases by the UNESCO do not correspond with the spirit of cooperation between Azerbaijan and UNESCO. Azerbaijan is open to a constructive dialogue with UNESCO to discuss the details of the mission and reiterates its readiness to cooperate with UNESCO based on respect for the sovereignty, territorial integrity and inviolability of internationally recognized borders of the member states. End of quote. At the next plenary session of the BİRİNCİlik, the deputies discussed 5 issues. The parliamentarians adopted the bill on accounting in the third reading, which also features the issues of professionalism of chief accountants and medium-sized businesses. At the meeting, the law on conventional financial unit was cancelled, which determined the rules for calculation of wages, state duties, one-time duties, fines, financial sanctions and other payments calculated on the basis of the minimum monthly wage in Azerbaijan. In addition, amendments were made to the chapter on service in customs authorities, as well as to the draft laws on the establishment of orders and medals of the Republic of Azerbaijan, and in connection with the establishment of the Jubilee Medal on the 15th anniversary of the Ministry of Emergency Situations. 2,284 infections with the novel coronavirus were registered in Azerbaijan. 4,392 people recovered after treatment and were released home. 41 people who earlier tested positive for COVID-19 died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 205,877, with 147,199 recoveries and 2,294 deaths. The number of active infections is 56,384. To detect new infection cases over the past day, 15,221 tests and overall 2,088,358 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan, the task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That was all for today. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.